Recorded live from Studio 12A in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You're listening to the Josh and Friends Podcast.
Hello! Thank you for tuning into the Josh and Friends Podcast. I am your host. My name is Josh. And this week's guest is someone I met on a construction site over 20 years ago. We both worked for the famous BC Pavers out of Renton, Washington. And the first time I met this guy, I knew that, well, he was a very different type of cat, as he used to say. Very outspoken, extremely intense, and his work ethic, well, that was second to none. But as most of the guys I worked with back in the day, we also had fun outside of work, with numerous get-togethers at house parties and great times at the bar with friends. And he is here today to talk about some of those crazy moments in history, but to also discuss growing up in Washington, working up in Alaska, and of course, listening to music. So help me welcome to the show the man who once donated blood and then proceeded to go out drinking with us in Seattle on $2 pitcher night. He's the one and only, and I'm pretty sure only, Mr. Vic Engblom. All right, Vic, how you been, man?
Hey, Josh. Good. How you doing?
Doing good. I have you on a cell phone, and you're out. Where are you right now? Where are you calling
I'm in Ridgefield, Washington.
Richfield, okay. So where? Just for people that aren't familiar, where's Richfield?
It's north of Vancouver, so north of Portland, about 15, 20 miles.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. When did you? Do you live out there now?
Yeah, I lived here for about 18 years.
Holy crap! Okay, wow.
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense because I haven't. I don't know when the last time I had a conversation with you. I mean, like a in-depth conversation, but I actually met you on the construction site in the year 2000. Isn't that crazy?
Yep. Well, it was. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was in Lacey, right? The Lacey job.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, what are you doing these days?
I'm a ditch digger. I work for an excavation company, and sometimes I dig the ditches, and sometimes I'm down in them.
Right on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Cool. Right on. I know. I think Ryan told me that at one point you were working at a nursery or something like that.
Yeah, I took kind of a sabbatical for a couple of years. I quit. I just wanted to do something. Basically, I don't know. Just wanted to take a break.
Gotcha.
So
right on.
I did.
Right on. So you're back doing the grind in construction.
Yeah, I'm back where I belong, I guess.
Right on. Well, we'll get more into that. But now, Vic, you are legit one of the most interesting guys that I know.
That's a compliment, Josh. Thank you. I'm probably one of the weirdest guys,
No, in a sense that, I mean, you have a lot of interesting stories. So, I mean, everyone has stories, but you have some pretty interesting ones, to say the least. Now, did you grow up in Kirkland or the Eastside, or where did you grow up?
Yeah, the Eastside, Kirkland, Washington.
Gotcha.
Microsoft land and Costco.
Yeah, in Costco.
Yeah. Microsoft and Costco.
Right. So, were you born in Kirkland?
I was born in Bellevue, which is basically the same thing.
Gotcha. Which is funny because you're one of the least Bellevue/Kirkland people that I've ever met.
Yeah, I guess I rebelled, didn't I? Don't work at Microsoft. I did big ditches.
That is funny, man. Yeah, no. Yeah. So, and your parents, they had a very interesting and unique business back in the day. What exactly was that, and how did they come up with that idea in the first place?
Well, my dad was a CPA, he was an accountant, and he was doing real well at his firm, partner and all that crap, and he just hated it. And he was always running other people's businesses, and he ended up just kind of with a good run of luck, I suppose. He bought a little soap company. Actually, he bought a soap company, and there was an archery company. That's how I got started into that.
Wow.
And a stamp den, and they met through the stamp thing. But the other businesses didn't work, but Dad did really well buying and selling soap and making
That's
it.
Interesting. So, and they bought and sold soap. And I remember the tail end of that, Eric, because they wanted you to kind of take that over. And I don't think you and your sister want anything to do with that. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know. Shelby probably could have did it.
Yeah.
But, I can't type. I can't be made to sit down. I don't like being inside. So being a business person is just not in my skill set.
Gotcha. Not in your skill set, not in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, right.
I would have never made it. I'd have crashed it.
Now, so they ended up.
Dad's a smart man. He knew that. So.
Yeah, right. Now they ended up selling it, right? And which was probably very good timing, because in retrospect, because the malls and the internet were right on the cusp of, like the malls were going kind of like downhill, and the internet was rising. So I'm sure people can buy, whatever soap they want now just online, right?
I think so. In fact, I know that can't remember how I got the last couple bars of good soap that I got, but yeah, I know you can probably find it online. Yeah.
So, I mean, like they kind of had like a very specialized thing where they would get it from like Europe or France or something, right?
Well, it came from, mostly from Europe, but all over the world. I mean, we shipped it all over the world too. So containers coming in from here and there and unloading them and roofing them. That was fun.
That's interesting. Yeah. So now, Vic, Kirkland, as you mentioned that you're kind of from there. It's a very different place now than from what it was kind of back in the day. Obviously, like, everywhere in the Seattle area is kind of a lot
different. Dairy farms 40 years ago. Yeah,
right.
I haven't been back in forever. I mean, why would I go?
Right. Well, I went to Seattle, I don't know, like last year or the year before. Oh, yeah, I didn't go anywhere last year. Yeah, the year before I went to Seattle, and I hardly recognized Seattle. I was like, what? Where is this? Like, there's so many buildings and stuff. I was like, well, okay, very different.
Yeah, I went up there to visit Ryan. I get kind of close and I start getting sick.
Yeah.
But Ryan's place is out, the woods enough. So
right. Yeah.
Kind of fake it, but just driving through there gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like it.
Now, some of my favorite stories of you involve another organization that was in town, which was the Seahawks back in the day. And
oh, God. You're going to get me arrested if we start talking about this yet.
No, but it's hilarious. Anyway. I think the statute of limitations are way past the point of, coming after Vic. And by the way, I don't even think people could probably find you if they were looking for Vic, where is this guy? He's kind of like off the grid. Oh, I'm pretty sure Vic is pretty off the grid. So
yeah, it probably would be hard to track down.
But
I suppose.
But some of your stories are hilarious because, like, you're kind of like the opposite of me in the fact that you were not a Seahawks fan. I love the Seahawks, but you were not a fan of the Seahawks. And and didn't you say that you and your buddy would, like, I don't know, kind of...
Yeah, we didn't like them because they bulldozed all of our BMX trails and jumps and shit that we made, in the woods. It was our woods. And then they bulldozed it, and then they told us we couldn't play there no more, and that didn't go over well.
Oh,
and when you're, in grade school, you're not exactly rational. So
no, that makes sense.
Yeah, we took it out in our own little way. We got even with them.
Yeah, no, because I have
I still don't like them.
I have the same kind of deal, kind of the same story with Emerald Downs. Have you ever been to Emerald Downs, the horse track?
Yeah, I had been there when I was a kid. Yeah, it's not there no more from what I heard.
Well, I think Emerald Downs is still... Well, no. You're talking about the other one. The other racetrack in... where was that? Like
Long Acres, I think it was called.
Long Acres, yeah. Auburn has the Emerald Downs, and they mowed over my old kind of like trails and stuff like that where we used to go. So I kind of feel you on that one. So, but... Yeah,
we didn't like them. The neighborhood kids were angry.
Yeah, so you and some of the neighborhood kids would, put buckets of stuff in their mail drop and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I can tell you don't want to really, talk about the old...
That's, people can imagine. It got pretty bad. Yeah, we were pretty nasty to them, and the poor janitor and construction crews and whatever else they had to hire because of that.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So now, Vic, I think that when did they, that was the facility they built in like 86 or something like that. Does that sound about right? Were they?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were grade schoolers.
Yeah. So now, Vic, you actually worked in Alaska. Now, was that before or after or during college? When did you work in Alaska?
Before and during.
Gotcha. Now,
worked on it.
You would talk about, working in Alaska, but it's kind of like one of those things where It wasn't, you had that one incident, which is really terrible. But what did you do up in Alaska? I mean, were you on one of the fishing boats up in Alaska? What did you do up there?
Yeah, I worked on what they call it, a perch status, is what it is. I'm sure they're still paying for salmon and whatever else. And we caught salmon, and I guess I worked on the boat.
Right on,
You know,
right on.
Kind of when you work on the boat, you kind of have to do a little bit of everything. You got to do deck work and, you know, I don't know, just work on a boat.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Now,
it was a big adventure. It was very fun.
right on. Now, did you ever get sick?
Yeah.
Did you ever puke? And I know a lot of people get sick.
Only once. Everybody gets sick at a point.
Gotcha.
I only really got sick once.
Gotcha. Now, my dad had this buddy that he went to college with, and he came over, and I think it was in high school or something like that. And he goes, he was telling me about, because he used to go up. I think he went up once or twice, you know, during the off season, you know, from school, I think, or whatever. And he'd go up there and work a lot, which a lot of people did from Washington. But he went up there and he goes, yeah, well, if you ever want to think about working up in Alaska, great money. He goes, but I was one of the sorters, and I would be up to my waist in fish, sorting them out. And he said he'd come back, and it took like weeks for him to get the smell off his skin. It was like soaked into his body. I was like, that's disgusting, man.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we all smelled like that, so we didn't notice. But
that is funny, man.
yeah, lots of fish. We get to crawl around in them. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but you made some pretty good money up there, huh?
Yeah, in my earlier years, I did make good money, and then in the later years, I didn't. And that's why I quit and started pounding nails, I guess. It's just, wasn't making enough money doing it. Our fishery kind of went away. The market went away. The fish were still there, but nobody wanted them.
Really?
So
that's interesting.
we would come in and, we could catch what we could catch, fill the boat and come in. And, at the last season I worked up there, we would come in and sell all of our fish and basically pay for fuel and groceries and maybe make $100.
Wow.
That's
not worth it. Yeah, especially if you're traveling up to Alaska.
All those canneries are gone now. They mothballed them all.
Wow, that's wild, man. Like,
yeah, that's what happened. Just the market changed.
Yeah. So now the story that my dad's buddy had when he was sorting fish, that's not like a horrible story. Now you have a story that's like 10 times worse than that. What happened when you were up there on one of those boats? You said that it was a pretty bad accident that you had to
I got a bunch of teeth knocked out. My jaw broke when a tow line snapped, and it was my job to disconnect it. So I was standing right next to it. Yeah,
you said you weren't looking in the direction, right? And when you turned around,
I was looking back at my skipper, and then he told me to pull, and the boat went up, and the wave went down, and I turned around, and it broke right when that happened, and came back and hit me right in the head.
That is so horrible.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it was neat. Got to take an airplane ride and go through lots of fixer-upper surgeries and all that shit.
Wow. Yeah, you said you had to be airlifted.
Good, and well, I mean, there's no airlifting up there.
That's pretty scary, man.
Larry chartered a puddle jumper, came and got me in Tennessee Inlet.
Jesus. And you had
fine. It was a big adventure.
Yeah. So, gosh, man. Well, that's a pretty that's a hardcore story.
Yeah. Well.
But man, you look good. You look good, man. You can't even tell.
Oh yeah, they fixed me up good. They didn't have to pay for it. Too, so. No permanent harm done, right?
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah. So now you went to the University of Idaho.
I did.
Now, how did you select Idaho? Did you get a scholarship there, or?
Oh, I did. They gave me an out-of-state tuition fee waiver to come play tuba.
Oh, that's right.
Which was worth actually quite a bit of money at the time. And back then, I mean, I think in-state tuition in Idaho was like $500 a semester, so I could basically afford it. Tuition.
Yeah.
And it was actually one of the probably happiest, funnest things I ever did. And I still like the U of I. Big
no,
it's like,
it's awesome. Really, really cool, man. Like you got to, I mean, I even met through you a bunch of cool people, Mo, Alex, there's a couple other guys too. I mean, they're all like really awesome guys. And now did those guys all play like in the band too?
Yeah, they both did actually. See, Alex played saxophone and Mo played tuba.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and I haven't talked to Alex for a long time. So I don't know where he's at. Mo just got married a couple of years. I think Ryan might talk about it. We both went to his wedding.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I text him once in a while.
What was that?
I said I text him once in a while about the Vikings. So
Oh, 10-4. I bet he probably likes hearing from you.
yeah.
Yeah, I should text him. Fuck yeah, I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah. No, it's funny because Idaho, it's really interesting because of the location, the geography of Idaho in relation to Wazoo. People don't realize, people that are out of state, they don't realize how close Wazoo, Washington State University, and University of Idaho really are. Aren't they like 10 minutes or 15 minutes away?
Well, I think it's 8 miles. We used to ride our bikes.
Is that crazy?
I didn't have a car in college. Yeah, we would just ride our bikes down to town. And yeah, it was fun. And they collaborate. The universities collaborate a lot, actually.
So cool. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
UW and Wazoo, they might as well be in different states, right? I mean, they are so far away. Like, it's like different worlds, which is funny.
It is.
Yeah. So going back to, you said that you played tuba. I remember, are you outside? You're like...
Yeah, I'm outside. My phone only works if I'm outside.
Oh, gotcha. So, now, I remember you playing tuba at Brian's wedding, and I was the DJ for that wedding, and...
I remember that.
And I'm just sitting there playing a song, and you bust out the tuba, and you're dancing around with the tuba, and I was like, this is the most interesting thing I've ever seen at a wedding. So, and
it was fun. I used to be my normal gig. I can pretty much make about anybody laugh.
So funny. So now just to talk a little bit about BC Pavers, you and Brian, so how are you in relation to Brian? Is it like Jennifer?
Brian ended up marrying my first cousin.
Oh, that's right.
And I think
okay.
when we met, they weren't even married yet. They were just dating.
Oh, interesting.
But, yeah.
So when did you meet Brian? And where did you meet Brian?
I met Brian through Jennifer. And then when I quit fishing, and I was kind of looking for work, and Brian was just starting that company. I mean, he had a little Ford Ranger pickup. That's all he had. And he used to rent tools and, started from nothing.
Wow.
And I just said he was looking for somebody to work with. And I said, okay, that's fine. Give it a shot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, worked there for a long time. It was really good.
I remember the first time I met you, which was on that Lacey job for that paver plant at, was it Mutual Materials?
Yeah, Mutual Materials. Yep.
Yeah. And I think I think you joined a little bit after we started that thing. And
yeah, you guys had been there for a while. I was in school, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I think it started in January of 2000. So I don't know when school ends or whatever. But you rolled in and it was like, hey, who's this guy? He's like, hey, man, nice to meet you. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if you remember this. All of a sudden, I'm like carrying some papers, and I set them down, and he started wrestling with me. I was like, hey, what's going on with this guy?
Oh yeah, I don't do that anymore.
And I was like,
I'm too old for that shit now. Yeah.
I started wrestling, and I was like, this guy's gonna pull me into the ground. I think I put like a foot into the sand. I started screaming, and I was like, what's going on here? You're like, I don't know, just screwing around. I was like, all right, okay, I got. So that's my introduction.
I kind of don't do that anymore. Yeah, no, I'm too old for that shit now.
Oh, it's back in the day, man. That's funny stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I think that's fun with your buddies.
But
fight with your buddies. That way you don't get too beat up.
But no. So do you remember, like, we would have like the big wigs come in, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I kind of remember some of them.
Someone that's meeting with Brian, and and I think I talked about this with Brian, and we would like screw with Brian so much, especially you, by the way. We'd be blasting Tom Likas, and
I remember that guy. Yeah,
and
he was funny.
I would like, there's Brian's meeting with somebody. I'm gonna slowly walk over and start to turn this.
Do you remember when you tagged his car? You tagged his car so hard with that big dick drawn on it. And that driver came in and was laughing so hard he couldn't drive.
Oh yeah,
and I took a picture of it and framed it and gave it to him for Christmas.
No way, you framed it?
I did. I framed it and gave it to him. I think he still got it. It was hanging in his office.
Oh, that is amazing. I didn't know that you framed that. That is amazing.
I did.
That is awesome.
I'm sure he still has it.
Yeah, because I remember you always used to draw the little dick pics on there, and then I drew the big giant one.
Yeah, dude.
And then he drove around all day once with it, like all day.
Well, we do it on his passenger side, so he didn't notice when he was walking up. Right? So I hate cops, stop. So funny.
And we were like, Brian, you really were driving around like all day with that on there? He's like, I guess. I mean, I didn't realize I was driving around. It was so funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But it was funny because like when he would have like those bigwigs come in, I would try to turn down the radio and you're like, fuck that. I was listening to that shit. And you like turn it like, not only would you turn it back up, you turn it even louder. And I'm like, oh God, this is squirmish. But, yeah. I just love the fact, I just loved your not give a shit attitude about stuff like that. Kind of like when we used to work on, when we used to do those one jobs where it'd be kind of like a new development and
hot daughter job. Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
But there would be like they would have like the porta potties there, and then the guy would come in the morning to clean them. And do you remember you'd always ask the guy? You go.
I do remember. Yeah. I still ask, actually. I get a chuckle out of watching them turds go through that.
The guy's just on his route trying to just like literally just do his job, and you're like, hey, you like pumping shit? You like, how's that shit pumping? You say, like the guy's like,
suck up some turds. That's what I would always ask.
Half the time the guy would just kind of stare at you. Like,
yeah, dude, I was just being it. I don't know, trying to be funny. I guess I was being it. Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old honey bucket restrooms. Oh, no. You know what I didn't like though is the worst jobs in my opinion were the residential jobs because
me too. Don't like it
because for a number of reasons. By the way, first off, a lot of the time the guy would be just sitting there staring at you as you're working. And I'm like, all right, yeah, this is kind of weird. But the worst part, in my opinion, was the fact that you had to like ask these people to go to the bathroom, or you had to go find a tree if there was a tree and like kind of go to the bathroom outside somewhere. So they're just always it's always a pain. But
yeah.
I don't know. But the one thing that I always love about doing construction, just period, is the way that you could just act like yourself. That is the best part of construction, in my opinion, is you don't have to worry about anything in in a normal office setting. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know, because I've never done the normal office setting.
Well,
this is all that I know, dude. No, I know not to go there. Yeah. I know not to go there. I'm not so stupid. I'll stay right where I'm at. I'll be in big trouble.
But you know what I mean? Like, you have to watch what you say, and you have to kind of like, you have to be on your best behavior at a construction site.
Well, we do that. We do that. We're on our best behavior most of the time.
Right. Well, with certain things, yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But we certainly get to talk about whatever we want, and pretty much get to pee whenever we want.
Right.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah.
Weren't you at that one job with us where we were working at a golf course, and was it? I don't know if it was me or Brian or one of us got hit by a golf ball.
Oh, dude, that was you. You got whacked by a golf ball. I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
And then you went out. I don't know if you marched out there or I don't know what happened. I couldn't remember what happened, but you went out there or tried to figure out who was like who hit the ball or something. I was like, okay, well. Yeah, is this what happens like on these golf course houses? Like, I don't know if I'd want to be sitting here like out in my backyard just being hit by golf balls all the time. But they look pretty. They're on a golf course.
Pretty. You got a car. Yeah, you go play golf. I guess is what you'd do.
Yeah, I guess. do those?
I would. I don't even play golf, but if I lived on one, I probably would start.
Right, and they always have like the. Now, do they have? I wonder if those places have like extra thick windows. Or if they have like plexiglass windows.
Yeah, screen windows would be the best keeper.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Vic, you were always so hardcore at some of these jobs that you would actually. Now, I don't know if I have the right context of these jobs, but I'd be like, I'd show up to Brian's house just to meet at Brian's house, and I'd see that your truck was parked there, and the windows are fogged up, and you'd hear us pull up, and boom, out comes Vic, and I'm like, dude, you did not sleep here last night, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I slept here. I'm like, oh, all right.
Oh yeah, well that was due to our fucking Thursday night out habit.
Oh, that's right.
You remember we'd go to Dante's and drink pitchers of beer, and yeah, I knew that if I ever made it home, I'd never make it to work. So I would just drive straight to work and sleep in the truck. That was every Friday. By the way, we went there pretty much. Yeah, we got shithouse drunk every Thursday.
That place is great. That place is so great.
It was fun. It was fun.
They had like $2 pitchers, and then they like upped it to $3 pitchers, and we're like, ooh, $1. Okay. Remember we used to have we used to have those big tables literally full. Like you couldn't even see the table. There were so many pitchers of beer, like that were just fully covered the table, because it was like from 8 to 10 they would sell the pitchers of beer. So we would be like, we don't care if this shitty beer is warm or cold. So we just literally just fill up the entire like table full of beer, and then we just drink that the rest of the night. And it would be like,
I remember that.
Yeah. Do you remember that one time that you donated blood and then you came out drinking with us?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do that pretty regularly, actually.
Oh my God.
Makes you a real cheap date.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy moly. I was like, yeah. I just donated blood. And I go, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You're like, yeah, I go, isn't that like really dangerous? And you're like, I mean, yeah.
It works pretty good.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
Now, in our circle, I've famously compared you to the Muppet Animal from the Muppets.
All right. That's a compliment.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Animal's awesome, right? So
yeah, I was recently called a beast. I think yeah. I like it.
Yeah, Animal's awesome. He's like all, he's not always crazy, but
usually happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animal's a pretty happy guy.
Yeah. So now I'll never forget the time. I think that we met Kevin at a bar in Tacoma for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if you remember this. I vaguely remember it, but we were meeting Kevin and, a group of other people out there, and we were talking to somebody. I was talking to somebody, and I had my back to you, and the person in front of me, I just remember that it was kind of like a slow motion, like where I'm talking to them and I'm looking at them in the eyes, and then all of a sudden I see their eyes go up, and I was like, what is going on? Why are you looking up? So then I turn around, and in like slow motion, I see you standing on a table with a stool in your hand, like waving up and down. I'm like, oh my God. And it was like it's one of these small pubs where like, it's an Irish pub, you know what I mean? Like it's not like a, crazy, dance club or anything like that. And I was like, oh my God, what on earth, what is going on here? And you're like, fuck this place.
I had to go home. Yeah, they said no more. I remember that. Yeah.
No, but it was like hilarious because I was like, I don't even know what happened, but all of a sudden Vic's standing on I don't know if it was on a table or on the bar or what, but you had a stool in your hand.
I was pretty drunk, but I wasn't going to do anything bad. I was basically...
you never do anything bad. Yeah,
No, I wasn't going to be bad. I just, I don't know, wanted to do something a little, make everybody's head spin around. I guess it worked.
Sometimes Irish pubs, if they don't have a band playing currently, there's kind of like nothing to do at Irish pubs a lot of the time. Like we're just kind of like, all right, well, I mean, usually there's like, karaoke or some sort of band or, even music being played or something somewhere. So I don't know, maybe in that situation, you're like, well, fuck it. I'm going to start making some entertainment. This place fucking sucks. I don't know.
Yeah, I entertain myself. That's it.
Exactly. So Vic was the entertainment. And then you were like, well, I have to go, so maybe I'll go out with the bang. I don't know. Vic, you remember when we'd go to Vegas with Brian and for those conventions? And
yeah, I do remember that. That was really fun.
First time I actually went to Vegas was with you and Brian. I'd never been to Vegas before. I don't know if you...
I haven't been since.
Oh, really?
But, it was fun.
Yeah, so I remember it was funny because I think the first time... I don't know if it was the first time or the second time, but the first... we went to Vegas, and It's literally right after 9/11. It's like, a couple months after 9/11. I think it was like, I don't know, February or March or something. Like real fresh after 9/11. And the airports were very militant about everything. I mean, remember that? Like,
I do. Yeah.
And then, and you bring this little duffel bag for like this 3-day trip we're on, and they pull out like a knife, you had a knife that you were bringing. I don't think you meant to bring it, obviously, but
no, that's happened a few times. Yeah, I have one now. I always do, and
funny.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
So great. You're so much. You're so freaking entertaining, man. Like, no, the next time I went to Vegas was a funny time. Well, it's funny too because Brian, when we'd always go to Vegas,
the crew got bigger every consecutive year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Brian, it's always really funny when Brian goes to Vegas with us because Brian always tries to like hang. He never.
Oh, he was going to show us how to drink. Yes. I remember that. That didn't work very good for him. He was puking in the plastic bushes in the Iowa casino and so hungover the next day he couldn't have any fun. Poor guy.
Right. Yeah, but he always he wants to. In his head, he's like, you know what? I'm with these guys that go out 2-3 nights a week. I can hang. I was like, I don't know, buddy. And he just goes hardcore.
No, don't try to keep up with Ryan. He's pretty good at it. Yeah, you shouldn't try that. No.
But one of the times we saw Hugh Hefner and his 7 girlfriends back at the Hard Rock.
I remember that. Yeah, that was
cool.
A big, you were particularly excited about that.
Yeah, I fucking love Hugh Hefner, man. I was like, whoa, Hugh Hefner? Are you kidding? This is awesome. Dude, he's like a god. This is so cool.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was cool. And then I think we saw Ice-T. We saw Ice-T there. But one of the best things is when your buddy Simon flew out. I think he came out the day after and joined us. And it was like, remember, it was like the tail end of that whole Vegas family era, part of Vegas where they...
Oh, dude, yeah, I know the story you were going to tell, yeah. Simon doesn't take no shit from nobody. No.
Well,
he stuck up for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, they tried to turn Vegas into kind of like a Disneyland type destination, and
yeah, and it's not.
It's just
Vegas is not.
Yeah.
So you bring your kids, idiot.
Well, I think a few years after that, they really went back, and I think they even adopted the slogan, which was what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas or something like that. But which was always kind of like a joke. But I think they literally adopted the whole the whole quote. But you and Simon, and by the way, how did you meet Simon? You met Simon at a wedding?
At a wedding. I met Simon at a wedding. Yeah, he and I got to wrestling. So back in that era. We've known each other ever since.
Are you still in contact with Simon? How's he doing these days?
I haven't seen him in about a year. He's married. He's got 2 daughters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's doing really good. Lives in Olympia.
Awesome. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So now, so the Vegas story, real quick here. So basically, you guys were, I don't know what hotel that was, like one of the kind of cheesy hotels, like the New York
They're
or something.
Cheesy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and we were kind of like, I don't know if Lee was wanting to play the punching bag game or something, like, I don't know where we were. We were kind of like in the, the stupid kidsy kind of area. But anyway, this lady comes up to you and Simon, and what did she say to you guys?
She was offended that we were smoking. I remember that.
You guys are smoking in Vegas.
And I was like, oh fuck! And I started to put my cigarette out, and Simon said, "Fuck you." And then dude came over, and basically Simon said, "Don't bring your family to Vegas."
Yeah.
And just kept smoking, and Simon would have kicked his ass. Like, done.
I remember you guys.
Like, done. And he knew it, and I knew it too. I was like, oh fuck, we're all going to Pokey.
Yeah.
But no, dude was smart enough to just leave, which is a good idea, and he probably didn't take his kids to Vegas no more. Simon humiliated him in front of his wife and kids. I thought it was awesome. Cool. Yeah, it was sweet.
Right. I love it. No, I remember right after that, you guys came up to us, and I was always hanging out like with my video camera, and I said, wait, what happened? And you're like, oh, wait, let me turn on my video camera and recreate this. And then you're like, you're like, yeah, well then don't bring your fucking kids to Vegas then. And then and then you guys like took a swig and then blew smoke up in the air. It's so great. Oh, I love that. No, Vic, one of my favorite parts of hanging out with you back in the day was talking about music. And I always love hearing what kinds of music people are into, genre wise. And you were always pretty eclectic as far as like your music. Most people are kind of like into like the general kind of, pop, rock, country or whatever.
Right.
And you were always more into kind of like, well, back in the day, I don't know now, but like kind of like more like into the funk, jazz, kind of maybe like, I don't know, different types of music that most people were. I mean, I love funk. Don't get me wrong, I love funk, but you were like really into like the horn, the kind of the
horn and shit like that. Yeah,
exactly.
We used to play too. So
yeah. Exactly. And I used to love watching or going over to your place, and I would thumb through your vinyl. And back in that kind of time frame, that was kind of like when everybody was getting rid of their vinyl. And I remember you had a pretty nice collection of vinyl, and that's kind of like when I was getting into vinyl too. And I was like really starting to buy a lot of vinyl because it's freaking cool. It's got a little
fun to play records. Yeah, you got to get up. Yeah, it's cool.
And you have like big pictures to look at, big inserts.
Cover on it. It's I guess it's gone now. Do people even buy albums anymore? Or?
Yeah, well, they've come back.
I don't. But.
Yeah, they've come back, and it's kind of like annoying because I went to a record store, I don't know, last year, and I kind of like laughed because there was this old Bob Dylan album that I bought. And I bought it because it was like one of his first albums, and it was for $1, and it was in mint condition when I bought it, right? And I was at a record store last year, and I saw that same record, and they wanted $52 for that record.
Oh, fuck.
And I laughed so hard because I was like, I wouldn't buy this freaking album for $5. And they want $52? Are you kidding me? Yeah, so it's back, but I think they're reprinting stuff and trying to, make up for the last decade of, non-existent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, no. So, but one of my favorite things to ask you was funk and disco kind of intertwined in like the late 70s. And I would always laugh and I go, Vic, what is the difference between this song and disco? Like this song and disco and I remember, I don't know if you remember, you'd always like tell me the same answer, but it was always funny because like you'd always go,
I don't remember what I said. I did. Yeah,
you would go.
What did I say?
You would go. I go, Vic. What is the difference between funk and disco when it comes to like a funk band? Like I go, is that a disco song or is that a funk band? He goes, you know what the difference is? The difference is if I like it, then it's funk. If I don't like it, it's disco. And I was like, I always thought that was hilarious.
Oh, well, that's a pretty good answer, isn't it? Right. Yeah, like, I guess I used to. That's what you said.
Oh, so great, so great. Now, some of the best things about hanging out with somebody are the things that you learn over just hanging out with somebody, right? And, someone will take you to a restaurant and you try like a different dish, or you learn that some people do something, just different, and you pick up on stuff. And one of the things that I learned from you was I went to, I think it was with Brian, and we went to a pizza place one time, and you busted out the juice.
Oh, Tabasco sauce.
Tabasco sauce. And you are the one that got me into Tabasco. And
oh, I still like it.
Yes, it's amazing. I don't know what you're like. I think you actually said the same thing that I tell people now too. I go, look, I don't know why Tabasco is so good on pizza, but once you put it on, you're going to always want Tabasco on pizza. So if you want to put this Tabasco on this pizza, just beware. Because I remember we literally started carrying around Tabasco after that. Because most places don't have Tabasco. Like if you're going to some cruddy, pizza place or whatever.
I don't do that. I do remember I always had some in my truck.
Yeah.
I don't anymore,
Yeah.
but I don't go out anymore.
Right.
Either, so.
Yeah, I don't really either. Yeah, but it was just so funny, man. We'd go out to the truck and get Tabasco and be putting it on pizza. It's so funny, man. But yeah, that's one of the really cool things that I learned from you. And I love Tabasco. I always buy Tabasco now, and they make so many different kinds of Tabasco. It's pretty crazy. So
it is. I still like the red kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too. That's definitely the best. Just a couple more things here. Now, Vic, can you tell me a little bit about the Redneck Olympics?
Oh, well, you remember Gary Payne, my buddy Gary Payne? That was actually, I stole that from him. He called it the Special Olympics, where you impale yourself.
Oh.
Because whenever you couldn't put your beer down. And then we did the Redneck Olympics, or the Hovel Olympics, I think. Is what I called mine. But yeah, we just, same thing, you couldn't put your beer down, and we played, you had to put your beer down to
you couldn't put your beer down.
Yeah, slingshot, horseshoes, and darts, and what else we did.
Oh, that is so funny. No, and you guys used to go out towards over on the peninsula near Forks. What was that?
Yeah, I still go up there all the time.
Sekiu, okay.
Sekiu, yeah.
Right. So now, by the way, that is up towards Forks, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any vampires up there?
I've seen a lot of people that think they are, but never a real one.
Are you a big Twilight fan?
Oh yeah, of course. No, those people made as much money as they could after that. I don't blame them. Go for it.
That's so funny, man. Now I never actually went up there, but I regret not going up there because you guys had some pretty awesome times out there. You guys used to have people fly in for those those camping trips and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had a big party. It was quite the happening.
Do you guys still do that?
I don't. No, we're older now, and the party is smaller. And,
sure.
And it's kind of a neighborhood now. The cabin in the woods is, there's neighbors up there now.
Oh, really? So
yeah. So no more throwing skeet off the back deck. Yeah. You've got to be a little bit more responsible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now there was that one time. I don't know. See, I wasn't there. I just remember Brian and Lee talking about the one time that they went out there and you had taken off the roof or something of the cabin or the. Oh
yeah, I forgot my key one time and I Spider-Man down into a skylight and fucked up the cabin. Yeah.
And you came down. You
Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I did. It was pretty awesome.
But when
I had a few with me by the time we got up there.
But when you left, you forgot to nail down the top or something, right?
Well, I shoved it back on where it was, and I had to really shove it on there. And I was like, oh fuck! And I couldn't find the screws, and
shit.
And I thought, well, there's no way. I mean, as hard as I had to push to get that on there, they'll ever come off anyway. So I went home, and anyway, they had a big, windstorm up there, of course, because it's right on the coast, and it blew the skylight off, and
oh god,
the cabin full of water. Yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
Oh yikes!
The floor. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yelled at because he was not happy with me.
Oh god.
But
yeah.
Anyway.
No, but
no harm done now. That's all water under the
sure. Well, water under the carpet.
yeah. New floor, new carpet.
So Vic, going back to you said you spoke about the Hovel, excuse me, and it brought up a story with me that I just remember. I remember one time, I don't know if I was out there. I think I was just out there hanging out with you guys, or maybe we were at the bar. What was the bar that was literally right down the street from Jerry's house?
Yeah, I remember the name of it. I can't remember it.
Vinny's or maybe.
Yeah, maybe it was Vinny's or that. Oh no, it was Four Corners Tap.
Oh, yep, that's the one. The Four Corners Tap. But anyway, we were drinking there, and I think we head back to Jerry's, and I was like, you know what? Because I think maybe you got we got some more beer or something like that, and I was like, I'm definitely not able to drive home. And you're like, you could just crash up here in the Hovel, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And you're like, I'll catch the couch inside. I was like, okay, cool. And but I don't, after a certain amount of beers, it's kind of gets a little foggy, right? So I remember you had this little hovel, and boy, talk about a small little. It's really cool. But it's like
it was great. I love the hovel.
It's really cool.
Jerry still rents it. Yeah, Jerry rents it out.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. It's kind of like one of those tiny. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those little tiny houses. So
Yeah, it's a micro tiny house.
Yeah, right.
Very, very tiny.
Yeah. So I remember I went in there and it has like this little ladder that goes up to a little loft, and the space with the bed on top of it, it's really narrow. It's
yeah.
And I remember waking up, and you know how sometimes you wake up and you're like, I don't know where I am, and that was one of those moments. I woke up and I immediately sat up and I smacked my head right on the roof. And I remember being like, it almost knocked me back out. And it felt like one of those like TV prank shows until I remembered that you told me I could just crash up there until, but I was like, oh man, that really hurt. But then I'm looking around, I was like, oh yeah, man, that's cool. Like Vic let me crash here. And I think you turned on the fire, and I was like, I think I woke up because I was like, it was so hot up there. I was like, oh Jesus, man, it was hot.
Oh, it's probably trying to get you up. Get your ass up. Yeah.
Exactly. So what else is going on, man? What is your average day like when you have the day off?
Well, I have a day off today. I get 1 day a week, because this is busy time for construction people.
Right.
So great. Right now I work a lot. I was going to go bear hunting with my buddy Colin next weekend and, take 3 days off and do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But they've closed the woods because it's so dry. I don't want anybody in there. So I'm not going to do it. I'll wait till they open the woods back up before I take time off because I thought I didn't get much. So I might as well get to do what I want to do.
Awesome. Do you still go down to Texas to go hunting?
Yeah, I go down there. Actually, now I go down there 2-3 times a year. Sometimes maybe more and more.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
I'll end up buying some property down there and becoming a little bit more permanent resident as I get closer to retirement.
Are you gonna eventually move down there or what?
I'll eventually buy property down there and probably be a winter Texan for a while. I think that'd be fun.
What area? What area do you
South Texas.
Oh, okay.
South and East San Antonio.
Gotcha. Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Victor, I know you got to run because this is your day off here, so I don't want to take too much time off.
Oh no, dude, it's no trouble at all. Good to talk to you, Josh.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks for making me feel famous, right?
It's so fun, man. Like I always tell people when I'm doing these, it's fun because this show makes you catch up with people, and for a lot of when you get older, you just don't talk to people that you used to be in contact with all the time, and it's fun.
It's fun. Getting older kind of sucks. I don't like it. We meet back in our 20s again. It's great hell. That's what we used to do. It was fun.
Yeah, there was a lot of good times, man. Like that we used to have out there. I mean, a lot of the stuff again I wouldn't do now, but we were like in our 20s, and
well, we would get arrested for it now. We just if we tried that shit now, we'd be in big trouble.
I always tell people, I was like, man, it's a good thing that we grew up then because we'd probably be canceled right now. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we'd be.
Well, yeah.
Trouble boy.
Yeah. Well, Vic, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to see you maybe next time we're
for sure.
Like visiting Ryan or something like that. I know him and Sarah, they seem to be our kind of like our main connection these days. Ryan
is the glue that holds the three together.
Yeah.
Well, next time you're out, man, fucking give me a shout, man. I'd like to drive. It's no big deal. So just give me a shout. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and then we could have some beers and chop some trees down and
Fuck yeah, dude. Have some riotous fun. Yeah.
That's great, man. Well, Vic, thanks for coming on, buddy, and I'll have to give you a call again.
All right, bud.
All right.
Yeah.
Talk to you later, man.
Yeah. Bye.
Have a good one. Thank you for tuning in to the Josh and Friends podcast. If you have any questions or comments about today's show, feel free to leave a message in the comment section below. If you enjoy listening to the podcast, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow the show. And check out some of the video clips posted on YouTube and Facebook. I'm Josh, and thank you for being a friend.